So good morning, everybody. It is 8:30 Friday morning, and of course we are going to get our day started. Of course we're going to get rolling. It's Friday. It's my favorite day. Anybody else get psyched about Fridays, even though you're a realtor? Like, it's just ingrained in you. I like wake up on a Friday and I'm always like, yes, Friday. And I'm like, I'm still working this weekend, but I'm psyched. It's like something about the weekend that like there's just like some freedom in that. I don't know, like some freedom from the routine or freedom from the rhythm or something. Probably just because you don't have to get on a morning call on Saturday and Sunday. That's what Dan Raposo wants to say. He's like, honestly, Matt, it's just that I don't have a morning call. That's why, but otherwise we're rolling. So those of you who haven't quite gotten around to hitting the camera on button, please go ahead and do it. So I'm about to introduce my very, very good friend, and you guys are in for a treat. Um, a real treat. My friend Vanessa, I mean, gosh, Vanessa, it's like 6 or 7 years now. It really started when you were like, I want to buy a house in Connecticut. Yeah.
Well, I
Um,
think it goes back to the dinner we shared in the Gary Keller Top Agent Mastermind in Austin, and that might have been 10 years ago.
that could have been 10 years ago for sure. So, it's incredibly one of the most challenging things to do is introduce somebody that you have such deep respect for, because I could talk for the next 20 minutes just about all the things that I admire and respect about Vanessa. But what we're going to talk about today and what you're going to share with us today, Vanessa, is you're going to talk to our team a little bit about your process in becoming the leader that I know you to be, and we're going to talk about where you're at today. But most importantly, what we like to do on our Friday call, because this is about leadership and personal development, is we like to dig deep into the inward journey that
Hmm.
takes you from where you were to who you are. Because the real struggle for all of us is not selling another house. It's not, finding the next client.
Yep.
Everyone on this call can do that. The
Yep.
real struggle is figuring out who you need to be in order to do that thing. Like that's actually at the foundation of all of it. We all know, oh, if I wanted to get a house, I need to go talk to more people, have a conversation that matters. And then we go, but why aren't I doing that thing? Why is that thing not happening? Why don't I do the thing that I know I'm supposed to do in order to do that thing? And I know you so well, and I have so much respect for you, so I know your story. And I want to go back to, let's just say it's 15 years ago, and that's about when you started your business, right?
No, 21 years ago, but
21. Okay.
15 years ago is when I joined Keller Williams. So it kind of is when the business started.
Okay. So let's shift from the version that says maybe I'll give this real estate thing a shot. What were you doing? How did you get into the business? Like what
Mm.
what was the beginning phase? What made you say, boy, real estate seems like a thing for me?
First of all, thanks for having me. I'm really honored to get to be here with all of you, kicking off Friday, which is Friday indeed. Even though, I mean, I spent so many years in restaurants and people would say, Happy Friday. And it's like, man, I'm pulling a double and I'm working all weekend. And then it just trickled over into real estate too. And I know exactly what you're talking about. Go way back in time. I grew up wanting to be a dancer. I stood at the ballet bar 6 days a week for about 15 years from the age of 4 all the way through college, and danced professionally with Ballet Dallas and their corps de ballet all through high school, driving myself in and out of downtown Dallas all through high school, 6 days a week. And then went to college only because I auditioned for every dance company I wanted to be in, and I did not get into any of them. So college was my backup, and I was deeply disappointed. And at the same time, got into an environment where I was able to be really creative and really live in the passion of dance. And then one of my associate professors hired me for her company, and then I got to tour with her and play hooky from a lot of college because she scooped me up. And that was a beautiful season as well as a professional, and learning how to be a part of a team, a dance company, both from ballet and then into that world, was just so remarkable, and really, really hard. And then during college, I had an actor, dancer, movement class with the theater department, and literally, love at first sight, saw this guy across the room and was like, oh, who is that? And that is my husband now of this year, this month it's 29 years. But I met my husband was my college sweetheart. And we decided to forge a life together up in New York City. He wanted to be an actor, maybe like pie in the sky Broadway. I still wanted to be a dancer. We moved up to New York City with $0 and zero New York City work experience and lots of restaurant experience because that's what we'd done part-time through college. And so we got to the city and we knew we had to get the first job we could get, and that New York restaurants don't hire you if you don't have New York restaurant experience. So we went around um, asking every restaurant if they would just hire us and let us work for free because we needed that on the resume. And Charlie got hired as a busboy in the West Village, and I got hired as a hostess at a diner in Tribeca. And again, I said, I will work for free. I'll prove to you that I can do this job. And within a couple of weeks, they hired me officially. And flash forward a couple of years later, I was managing the whole restaurant and like had kind of taken over.
Now
Um,
you guys again, I know this chapter, but you went to college, you skipped over in Texas.
in Texas, yes.
Where are you originally from?
Well, I was born in Wichita, Kansas, but we moved to Texas when I was 4 and then grew up in Texas, went to college at UT in Austin, and then we moved up when I was 22.
And Charlie is also from,
He is from outside of Houston in
right.
Texas.
And so two Midwestern, I mean, New York City, like this is the to me, this is the classic, like I'm gonna go to the big city and make it. Like you
Yeah.
like was there had you been to New York? Had you seen the city? Were you guys literally like a suitcase and a bus trip and we're just figuring it out? Like how did that because you're what,
I had,
22, 23 years old?
yeah, I'd visited New York with my mom growing up. And Charlie had been to New York several times because he had auditioned for tons of colleges all through high school, NYU and the like. And he had been up here a lot. And he got into NYU, and the scholarship was not enough for his parents to warrant a acting degree for how much that was still going to cost. So we'd been there, but it literally was, we sold everything in Texas. We had this tiny pot of money and suitcases, and we had movers, but they were like boxes in a futon, right? Like
Right. In
we
retrospect, you're like, we should have left that shit.
exactly. We should have
Complete.
sold everything
Yeah,
a
right.
1000%. Also, probably should have eloped, whatever. You learn these things as you go. But yeah, like we came up and that season when we had got those restaurant jobs, like we were pulling change out of the futon to get on the subway to get to our next shift.
Mhm.
And we had it's so funny. We just found it again. We had this wooden box. And every day we'd come home from our restaurant jobs, and if we both put $30 in the wooden box, then we'd done the math, we'd be able to pay our rent at the end of the month. And so we
Wow.
just every day it was like, here's my 30, here's your 30, or he made 20 and I made 40, or he made all 60 and I had zero, whatever it was. We knew we had to get $60 in the box between the two of us every day, and then we could pay that bill. And there were many days we had $5 to $10 left over. And it became a question of like, are we going to split a meal from the Chinese restaurant on the corner, or usually do we get a magnum of wine and just like chill on the roof of our walk up and drink the bottle of wine
And
together?
just drink till you pass out.
Yeah,
Awesome.
pretty
So
much. And then wake up and do it all over again.
so this goes on for how long? How long are you guys like restaurateurs in New York City while also pursuing the second career? By the way, I love the lesson of small things every day that lead up to big things eventually. Like
That's right.
there's just no scenario where that doesn't play in life and
Yep.
business. So
Yep. So I was 22. We did that for 4 or 5 years. Um, before Charlie really he had this epiphany that working in restaurants and in bars surrounded by cigarette smoke, which was the case back then, was not helping him vocally. And he's a singer and he wanted to be on Broadway in musical theater. And so he kind of took a stand. He said, I have to get out of the cigarette smoke. I have to make this change for myself, knowing that it was our livelihood. And we were like, okay, we'll figure it out. But yes, if that's why we're here, we have to do everything we can to create the environment for you to succeed.
Yeah.
And within like 2 months, he booked his first major commercial off-Broadway show. It was called Tick Tick Boom. It was written by Jonathan Larson, who also wrote Rent. And it was like, oh my gosh, this is a big deal. Like we took that leap of faith and we saw what a gift, such a quick payoff, which you don't always get, and you certainly don't always get it that quickly. But we knew that that was the right move. So during that time, I was still restaurant touring, and he was in that show. 9/11 happened. His show closed. I actually was doing some modeling on the side at that point, and all the runway shows got canceled. So we both were like, "Oh crap, like our industries are gone." We called the Air Force. We were like, "Hi, we'll join the Air Force." He's like, "I'll be a pilot." I was like, "I'll be a midwife. Like, just take us both. We're married. We'll figure it out."
Oh, I
Um,
love the open options. Like, what can we do? What can we do? Like, yeah, like
Literally.
that youthful enthusiasm. So,
Yeah.
all
And then
right,
a week later, the show reopened. We were like, "Oh, never mind, Air Force. Show business is
yeah,
back."
we're out. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll hand in our uniform. All right. So this early sort of iteration of life and challenge and struggle. I mean, the theme there clearly is you guys are open to possibilities. I love the way you said you took Charlie took a stand for what
Yes,
his priority and his goal was. Where what I believe most people would do is say, well, unfortunately, the only thing I can do is work in bars, so I guess the Broadway thing is off the table.
that's right.
Most people would give up on the harder path versus stay committed. And
Yep.
I think that is such a powerful lesson. So through all this different iteration, though, at some point, the
Yep.
concept of a real estate career shows up.
Yeah. Yeah.
This idea of maybe I could do that. So that's
Yep.
21 years ago. So, where are you at? How does that
Yep.
happen? Like, where does this show up for you?
After 9/11, I became an administrative assistant, didn't join the Air Force. Then Charlie booked his first Broadway show, the lead in a Broadway show. And we were like, okay,
Here
it's
we go.
happening, right? Like, I could believe it. I knew coming here that that would happen. But like it was just profound and beautiful and amazing, and seeing him star on Broadway was everything. And then they offered us the first national tour. So he did it on Broadway and they said, star in the tour, go on the road for a year. And so I quit my job and went on the road with him as the merch girl. And I was selling the t-shirts in the lobbies of all the theaters around the country. Oh, and by the way, I was pregnant with our
Oh,
first
awesome.
child.
Okay.
So I have Hudson Pollock in utero. I give birth to that baby halfway through the national tour. We tour with our baby. We come
Wait, you
home with
gave
a
you
6 month old.
so you're on a tour bus, like rock and roll, almost famous groupie for Broadway, which is a whole
Yep.
different movie
Yep.
that they haven't made yet. And you have a baby somewhere halfway around the country.
Yeah.
Like in a hospital with a doctor that you'd never met before.
That's a whole other podcast.
Okay,
And
awesome. Okay.
yes, I flew down to Texas with plenty of time and hung out with my in-laws, gave birth to Hudson in Texas. And then when Hudson was 5 weeks old, went back out on the road with dad.
Because why not? That sounds amazing. I
Because
love it.
why not?
I
Why
love it.
not? That kid was made for the road, as it turns out.
This is, by the way, I mean, what a boring real estate origin story, Vanessa. I mean, it's just like every interview we ever have. I want to be a realtor because I just finished national tour for a Broadway show and having a baby. Okay. So,
And while we were on the road, Charlie's understudy was a rental agent in New York City. And as we were coming home, he said, "You know what, Vanessa, you've been a waitress." I like started a flower business along the way because I was a serial entrepreneur in
of course.
spirit. You're out there selling the merch. Like, I think you'd be a great realtor. And Charlie lit up and he was like, Babe, you drag me into every open house in every city across the country. We don't have two dimes to rub together. You love houses, you love architecture, you love design. You're such a good waitress, so I think you're good with people. Like, let's do that. And
It
so
actually checks out. He's got a pretty good system for identifying talent. Awesome.
yeah. So we
Okay.
got home from the road and he wasn't immediately in another show. So Charlie was like, I'll stay home with Hudson. You go get your license and go get started. And so I did. I got my New York City license. I started at that other actor's rental agency. And I will tell you, within no time at all, I realized everyone around me was lying, cheating, and stealing, and this was not my industry. And I was
Well,
like, I'm out, babe. Sorry, gave that a go, but I am not doing that.
this den of thieves is not for me.
Correct. And I was sharing that story with some of our best friends who had just purchased a home in New Jersey. And they're like, wait, don't give up yet. Like, our agent's looking to hire an assistant. Maybe you should switch over to residential sales and do single family homes. And it's not that rental market, in the city, so cutthroat. Like, this is very different. And I was like, okay, I mean, I'll take an interview. And I interviewed with their agent who was looking to retire. And she shared with me over the course of maybe a 20-minute interview that she wanted to retire. She wanted to hand her business over to someone. And she'd receive referrals basically on her database as she transitioned into moving back into the city. And she'd have that passive income and have left her business to somebody that she'd trained, that she could trust, and she had this business arrangement with. And would I come work for her as her admin and as her assistant, learn the business from her with that as the end in mind? And sounded great to me. And 20-minute conversation, we both said yes. And I went back to real estate school, Hudson still with dad at home, and got my license again in New Jersey. And by the way, a 20-minute interview is probably not a good sign.
That's not the ideal way to pick the next leader for your organization. Yeah.
Kind of maybe not the model.
Well, it sounds like she was like, well, you've been a waitress, you've done this, you've done that, you like architecture, you like people, checks all
Yep.
the boxes, you'll be great at this, right?
Sure.
Right. Okay, so you take the jump, you get in, you
Mhm.
operate in a role as an administrative assistant,
Yep.
and at some point, and we're getting to the good stuff here,
Yeah.
at some point, this origin leads to, I mean, you guys are perennially one of the top real estate teams in New Jersey, but more importantly, how you built your business
Yeah.
through generosity and community, developing people in your community and developing initiatives around charitable giving, to me is one of the most brilliant and beautiful things that you can marry. So at some point, you're in that administrative assistant role, and you think
Yeah.
there's more here, and what happens there, because
Yeah.
that's a big, there's this leap that obviously you've already given us your backstory where you've shown that you're not afraid to take a jump, but
Right.
but what, you're working with this woman, feels like a career path, but you're now a young mother. You have
Yep.
one child or two at this point?
One at this point. Yeah. And Charlie's home, taking care of Hudson. And I wake up, I've been her assistant for about 8 months for $0. We've been living off of our savings account. We actually sold our Jersey City apartment so that we could get the equity and live off of that while I started this job. And after 8 months of $0 and zero leads, if you will, I realized as she gave some buyers to another agent in the office rather than
Oh,
giving them to me, I was like, oh, she has no intention of staying true to what she discussed with me and what I thought the plan was. So I said, I'm so sorry. This is no longer working. It appears that you do not have the intention of passing your business off to me. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next, and I'd like the option to stay in real estate, but I know there's a non-compete in our contract, so what would you have me do? And she said, well, and I found out later she told somebody, Vanessa's not a closer.
oh,
Um, I said, I would welcome the opportunity to stay in the business. She said, well, as long as you move half an hour south to another office, half an hour away, I'll let you stay in real estate. And I said, thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. I wish you all the best. And so I moved all my stuff out, and I'd learned a lot. I had shown all her houses, done her home inspections, written her contracts, negotiated deals. Like I knew a lot. But as I moved out and didn't really know what I wanted to do next, I told Charlie, I was like, you know what? Again, I quit. I'm so sorry. Like the rental thing didn't work. Now this didn't work. Like we've blown through our entire savings account. You
And
stayed home with
and
Hudson.
I would just add, like, it feels like you've also just had, there we all know that those characters exist in this industry
Yeah,
that do not have the intention or like the best they're not trying to serve people. They're trying to
correct.
get.
And that's the word that jumps out at me is I learned in that moment that I had to serve people. That people and taking care of people and putting people first was so paramount. And I got to that place because I went home, I said I'm quitting, and Charlie was like, babe, we just invested in your master's in real estate. Like, you know exactly what you want to do and how you want to do it. You know exactly who you don't want to be. Go be you in this industry and do it. And I was like, are you sure? I really feel like I should just get a job. And he was like, I believe it. And we will live off of credit cards until the closings start coming because I know they will. So I went and set up shop in that office half an hour away in Maplewood, New Jersey. I knew one family in town. A friend had given me the quote, put people first and success follows. I taped it up in my cubicle. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. It is going to be all about people. There's nothing about sales here. This is all about being a positive force in the industry and in the community. And we're going to do it with beauty and excellence and let's go, right? And I I decided to hire my friend who'd launched a website business. Websites were new. I was like, let's make a beautiful website that does not look like a real estate website, that is so captivating and has such storytelling that the people who gravitate to that will gravitate to me. And I'm going to be so true to who I am. Like will attract like, those will be my people and I will serve them. And wouldn't you know, within 90 days of setting up shop and getting started, the closing started coming. And we started seeing, like, oh, this is going to happen. And I'm now doing it from a heart of service and taking like deep care of people. Um, and then I woke up, I'll be honest, flash forward like 6 years later, I'm the top single agent for that three office franchise, including the one that she was still at, had never retired. And
Somewhere you must have learned how to close. I don't know what happened,
I
but there must have
mean,
been,
maybe
yeah, there
sounds
must have,
like it.
yeah.
Top producer for the year that I had our second child in April. I had a spring market baby, and really was like just working 7 days a week, all day, every day, single agent. And like you said earlier to everyone, we all know how to sell another house. And that was that franchise's uh, solution to all my problems of then burnout and being overwhelmed and not knowing how to balance this industry and my family and kids. And Charlie's doing more Broadway shows. And what do we do? And their solution was just sell another house, it'll take care of itself.
Mm.
And that's when I heard about Keller Williams had agents who actually took a day off. I was
Yeah,
like, what?
yeah.
How does that work? And I met with KW and I said, look, I'm a top producer. I'm doing like 8 million a year. I cannot see straight. By that point, I'd had a third child. And I was like, I have to have a day off on the weekend to take care of my kids while my husband's doing matinees. He cannot control his schedule. I can control mine in real estate, but I don't know how. And I'm so burned out. I've got these three kids, like this good business, a definite drinking problem, and I need help. And just kind of came in like waving the white flag. And that was the defining moment of, okay, am I a salesperson? No. I love to serve people. But how do I balance my family, take care of my kids, be the kind of wife, mother, business owner, woman of faith, all the things? How do I order it in such a way that makes sense and is holistic and isn't spinning out of control? And my team leader at the time was very smart. She said the way you have a day off is you build a team. And I need you to go on this path of team building, learning about owning a business, not selling houses. And as a business owner, when you have a team and you have leverage, then you have some breathing room. And however you want to use your time, you'll use it, but you have no time right now, and leverage will give you time. And right around that time, I actually also got introduced to Mo Anderson.
Mm.
And for anybody who knows Mo, she was the first CEO of Keller Williams, who grew the company from 1,800 associates to 50,000 people. Like, her leadership as the first female CEO in the real estate industry. Can you imagine growing the team to 50,000 people? Like, it's crazy. And I was able to get into relationship with her because of a mutual friend. And I sat down and talked to her after having taken Quantum Leap with her. And Quantum Leap was like a slap in the face that I was not the human I wanted to be. And that I didn't know what I stood for. I didn't know why I was doing it. I didn't know what the meaning behind the business was.
Let me put a pin in this moment here, because this is what we try to, if there was a thing that I could distill and try to pass along to every person in my life who's ever said, but Matt, how did you get there? This is what you're talking about. That at some moment in time you wake up and despite external validation, you're successful, you're winning, despite all the things that you look that seem to be, you're
Yes.
still asking this question of who am I? And
Yes.
how did I get here, and where am I trying to go? And I
Yes.
think there's this like wildly difficult trap to get out of, which is that especially when you start having some level of success, the world starts telling you you're okay, you're
Right.
fine, you've won, you're the top, you're the best, you're really good, you're good enough, you're working hard enough, you're working too hard. The world starts giving you these messages, but then there's this inside thing that's saying like, but I don't think I'm there yet.
That's
And
right.
it's not this achievement thing like that. That's what I think what a lot of like I don't know how many times my mother has told me like, son, you need to slow down. You're working too hard, because it's like it's care and it's love and it's genuine. But like she thinks it's like I'm chasing or in pursuit of some next thing, where it's like I'm
Right.
trying to figure out who am I, and I'm still
Yeah.
trying to figure that out. Okay, so you're in this moment, you're having this great relationship, you take Quantum Leap, you're a
Yep.
top producer,
Yep.
everybody looks up to you, and you
Yeah, I
go,
mean, I'd been on two seasons of an HGTV show at this point. So
okay.
not only was it like exactly what you're saying, top producer, but like getting recognized and like being a national, TV personality. It's just like all of that was happening, and I was spinning out of control. And I knew that the primary relationship in my life was not with my creator or my husband or even my kids. It was with booze.
Hmm.
It's like they say in Keller Williams, it's, faith, family, business, right? Mine was like booze, business, babies. Like I was so out of whack. And Quantum Leap like really shone a light on that. And I felt really convicted. I was like, I know that it means my life will mean more than just this. This is not right. Can I move past the shame? Can I move past the embarrassment? Can I move past the fact that I have fooled everyone?
Mhm.
And actually like reorder my life and get this in in alignment
With the
so
version
that,
of you that you believed you were capable of being.
yeah.
And I think that we all innately have that there, that's in us. There's this version of us that we know exists. And
Yep.
then the life process is nothing more than just peeling the layers away. And
Yep.
some of those layers are like hardened and difficult to confront. Like, oh
Oh,
my God, I
yeah.
might have an addiction to alcohol.
Yep.
I'm really not cool with the idea that I have to say that out loud and do it. And of course, here
Yep.
you are years later, so open and candid about it, which I appreciate so much. So you confront this, you have
Yep.
this moment, and
Yeah.
what comes of it?
Well, it was about 6 weeks after taking Quantum Leap that I really had my rock bottom. And as I like to say, it was a very high bottom, meaning I didn't lose a relationship. I didn't lose my job. I didn't, there was no dramatic event. It was dramatic to me in the moment. And so July 23rd, 2012, I'm coming up on 14 years now this month, was the last time I had a drink. And that act of self-care was the most important thing I could do to actually start to become who I knew I could become and figure out who I am and what I was meant to do and meant to be. And um, that was really hard. I white knuckled it through the first, honestly, couple of years. Those first few months were really intense, and getting sober is like experiencing frostbite. Like you are coming back to life, you're getting your feeling back, but holy s, does that hurt? And so that it's not just the like getting sober part, but it's dealing with what have I been self-medicating? What have I been running from? What have I been hiding behind? And through that process, then, the gift of personal development classes within Keller Williams, which to some folks from the outside are like, oh, that's a cult. And I'm like, no, actually, it's just personal development disguised in real estate. It's all good. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Really helped me to figure out how I was going to channel this into something that felt authentic and true to me and had a deep, deep meaning. And that's then about when I had this next meeting with Mo Anderson. And at that time I was like, Mo, I'm like a $10 million producer. I know I want to serve people. I know I want to be known for care. I know I want to give back because I'd had these moments of inspiration with these people in my life that had shown such like radical hospitality and generosity. And I had so much envy. I was so jealous of them. But then I realized, wait, why can't I be them? Why can't I do that? Like maybe that's who I can become. And I shared that with her, and she very clearly laid out the roadmap. She just said, darling, get your team to $40 million, get on the ALC and lead the culture committee, and read every John Maxwell leadership book there is.
Hmm.
Call me when that's done, was basically how she left it. And then, like 2 weeks later, this huge box shows up to my house with the entire library of John Maxwell leadership books. I was like, ugh, that's accountability. When Mo Anderson mails you all the books, you better read them.
You were like, you're like, does she really mean all of them? She mailed them to me. Like,
Yep,
isn't
you
there a
mean
Cliff Notes version? Right.
exactly. But I woke up about almost 2 years later after that meeting, and I had been chasing the 40 million. I had served on the ALC. I had read the books, all the things, and I was like looking at my numbers in January, and we had closed and pended $40 million. And during that season, I had evolved as a business owner to realize the business wasn't about me. Nobody cares really about Vanessa. They care about what our team stands for, what we provide our clients and our community. I took my first name out of the business. It was no longer the Vanessa Pollock team, it was Pollock Properties Group. And I actually didn't use Pollock Properties Group on our marketing. I had adopted this public facing motto of care, serve, give. I was like, that's what I want people to know. When they think of our business, they're going to think of the care we provide this community, that we give the best service in the real estate industry, and that we give back, and that we are leaving the community better than we found it.
Mhm.
And I got to that 40 million, and that had all happened, and I was like, oh, that's sneaky Mo.
Mhm.
It wasn't about the 40 million. It was who I became getting there. It was
True.
the journey that it forced me to go on to come to terms with how am I going to get there in a way that feels authentic to me? How am I going to go after a goal that is about sales, but not make it about sales? Where am I going to find the motivation and the drive to go provide this service for people when I actually hate sales and I do not cold call and I won't put
Yeah.
myself in a position where people are thinking that I have commission breath and I just won't do it. So it created a business model and a business plan through the care serve give principles that our entire team could wake up and live by. And all of our decision making could filter through, all of our lead generation could filter through, all of our goal setting could filter through. And next thing I knew, I was like, oh, this is so much bigger than me. I have to think so much bigger about all of this and how this business model could impact not only our community but other communities because I feel like there's something here and that got me excited.
The thing that there's two things I need to just park on for a second. One is that what you just described, that you said that sneaky Mo, she knew. Like again, there is this like really, really challenging thing I find in leadership and when you're in the process of always trying to become what you believe you're capable of
Yeah.
confronting that the outcome is irrelevant. And yet
Right.
we're still inside of this experience of building a business. So you have to have these like so Mo said it's 40 million. It wasn't 40 million. It could have been 45, it could have been 32. It
Right.
wasn't the number, but it
Right.
was that she recognized that the lessons that you would have to confront as a human, as a leader,
Yeah.
as a person, as a producer were inevitably going to show up along that path.
Yeah.
And had she been in a different industry, it might have been a different metric or a different model, but there was
Correct.
some version of you that would emerge by becoming the person who did that. And
Yep.
what we often do wind up hearing, or what I think our people hear, and perhaps it was the same lesson that you were told, I would contend, at that first brokerage where they said, just sell another house.
Right.
What we hear is the solution to all your problems is just sell more because we're not yet ready to have the right conversation with the right leader that it's really about. No, it's there's this person that's going to come out of
Yes.
this hard shit that you're going to have to do. You're going to have to do
Yep.
some of this hard stuff.
Yep.
From that, this is the beauty of your story and how you get there. From that comes an immense clarity about who you are, what you stand for, and how you want this business to look.
Yep.
And these three words show up. And listen, there's a lot of teams out there with words, but you did something different. You
Mhm.
took the words and you just landed on it and you built a model out of it, which is what makes a business. It's
Yeah.
not just rhetoric. Oh, love where you live or this or that. It's not just words. It's a way of being. And
That's
so
right.
here, serve, give and what we're leading to is what you're launching is what we're working on together, what I'm
Yeah.
so excited to be a part of. Tell us what care serve give is tactically. Take us through what you created that
Yeah.
has made you again what given you the business through the principles that you care deeply about that you wake up every day living out that model. Tell us about it.
Um, it it's so exciting to me to be in 2026 because in 2016, I actually tried to launch this. So I kind of have to go back and be sure everybody understands that sometimes an idea is planted in you and you've got to allow roots to grow before it can actually take off. I knew 10 years ago that this was real. I had not proven the model yet, though. So even though 10 years ago I launched the Care Serve Give community, I had the Facebook group, I had over a dozen people who wanted to follow the model. We had stickers and a directory and a website and all the things, and it fell flat because I hadn't actually proven the model yet. Flash forward now, 10 years later, where our team, as of this summer, has now passed the 1 billion in sales mark. That is what gives this model credibility. And I couldn't have known 10 years ago when I was like, oh, shoot, maybe this isn't a thing, but I still believe it and feel it. I'm going to keep at it. The going deeper and deeper and allowing the model to take hold and play out over the last decade is important to what we're launching, Matt. And so I have to say that. Um,
Well, because
and
it's a different iteration, though. There's
it
like
is.
it was the vision was launched in 2016, but 10 years later,
Yeah.
it's I would argue bigger, more
Yes.
profound, more
Yeah.
impactful,
Yeah.
but different.
Yeah, yeah. Different but the same. Because you're right. The principles are exactly the same. And so the way it's a model, can I talk about that first and
Please,
then we'll talk
yeah,
about we're building. Have y'all done a 135 or a GPS with Matt ever? Thank
they've
you for
never heard
nodding
of
your
it.
head.
Just
Yeah. So what our business model is, thank you, Sue. I love Zoom emoji. Um, our business model is the framework of a 135. The one, if you're taking notes, is your purpose. And once you know what your purpose is, and we don't have time today to go into it, everything can flow from there. The three are the three principles of care, serve, and give. And those are foundational. They never change. Your purpose may evolve over time as you evolve over time and as the world changes around you. But care, serve, and give never change. So purpose, principles, and then people. There are five people groups that matter the most to you, that you, by focusing on those people, you will have an integrated life and business where you are the same person at night in front of Netflix as you are in the car calling Matt, as you are meeting your clients, as you are picking up your kids from school. Those people groups that you focus your care, service, and generosity on are first yourself. So write down self under the word care. Then it's your family. Then it's your team. Then it's your clients. And after that, it's your community. So by directing care, self-care first, everything else can flow. Now remember, for me, my greatest act of self-care was my sobriety. Putting that in place, that was the first domino down. Nothing else we've talked about would have happened or matters if that one piece of self-care hadn't happened for me. And I don't know what it is for y'all. It may not be that big and dramatic, and it can change all the time. But what is that one thing, that one act of self-care that you know by doing it, you'll become a better version of yourself? Then you go to care of your family. If your family does not feel your love, and honestly, y'all, it should say love, serve, give, but I kind of decided love was a little too much for a real estate company, so I turned it into care instead. But this is about love. That is the universal truth that no matter what you believe, and where I believe connected by the truth of love, if your family doesn't feel your love, then does really any of the rest of it matter? After family, then it comes your team. You're looking at this gallery view. I could not have any way, shape, or form sold $1 billion in real estate without my team, without loving on these people, showing them gratitude and appreciation, holding them to high standards and expectations, but loving them, helping them become their best selves. Then how do you show care for your clients? That's where you get into the real estate piece of it to some extent. But maybe it's not even the transactional care. Maybe it's the care of how you show up for them on a regular basis to check in on them or to bring them a meal after they have a baby. Then it's care of your community, right? How are you showing up and loving on your community, maybe the community of your past clients, by having them to a baseball game and making them feel like they matter to you and that community, you care about them as people, you want to create memories for them, traditions for them, and let them know that you sincerely do love them. Then you apply that to service and then to generosity. But that's the model, purpose driven, principles led, and people focused. And we look at that 135 on a regular basis and think about what is our intention for this month or this quarter around self-care. Like for me, it's always going to be sobriety, but what else? Am I moving myself forward with weight training now that I'm in my 50s? Heck yeah, I am, because I want to be a strong grandma someday. What is that? And you're changing that. When it comes to how you show care for your family, I am going to have family dinner forever. As long as my kids are still living in my house, which I only have a couple years left with a couple of them, we will sit at the family dinner table and I will be sure they know how much I love them. And what else can I layer in for my family? So it's always evolving. The service piece is how you grow yourself from a self-growth standpoint. Your family, where does your family serve out in the world? Maybe it's your house of faith, maybe it's a nonprofit. How does your team provide the best service in your industry? The team piece of it, that's the tactical real estate part. How are
Mhm.
you the best team in real estate in Connecticut? Right? And that's a big part of this model. And we have a whole service playbook on that. How you serve your clients, right? Those two go together. And then how are you serving the community? And again, that's where you as a team showing up to serve. Maybe that's through Red Day.
In your team, Vanessa, I'm
Mhm.
going to jump in. Share with the team how you have executed on this part because I know about your music initiative.
So
Uh,
that's
there,
the,
there,
yeah, that's the
there
give part. So I'd love to. So now we go to give, and it's the same five people that you need to focus your generosity on. So where you give personally, I am going to recommend everyone gives to KW Cares. It is the most beautiful internal Red Cross. I served on their grant selection committee for years. It is remarkable how that organization has given back $60 million to take care of our own.
Oh,
It's
we
just,
just learned it was 66 million. We were
oh,
told.
that's right. You're
Yeah,
right. Thank you.
we were live corrected by Mo Anderson when Vanessa said, "What an amazing organization that's given 60 million." And Mo said 66.
That's right.
66. She wanted to make sure that we didn't miss the 6 million, which of
That's right.
course, and those who haven't met Mo, she is 82,
89,
89 years old and firing on all cylinders. She's
literally.
she's a Tommy gun. It's amazing.
She
So,
is.
all right, so
So
sorry.
give there. Then I'm going to say on the family level of the give model, you need to go be giving on behalf of and with your family privately. Maybe it's a charity, maybe it's a house of worship. It does not matter. But if you can't go give when no one is looking, you will feel like a fraud when you give publicly through your business.
Hmm.
So I need everyone, if nothing else flows out of this, to go make a decision to allow your life to be a distribution center of generosity when no one is looking.
You know what I want to park on that for just 30 seconds because
Yep.
what I have experienced in my life that is hard for some people when they're introduced to this concept. The idea of tithing, which again I think comes from predominantly religious institutions, but the idea of giving some portion
Yeah.
all the time, whether it's a dollar or 50 or
Yep.
5,000 is ancient. It's
Yep.
ancient, but what it's truly about is acknowledging the flow of money. Like
Correct.
what my experience around giving was that when I felt scarce and I didn't have enough, I didn't give. And
Right.
because I didn't give because I felt I needed everything, my world got small and so did my money. As
Yeah.
soon as I recognized that giving was really a part of like respecting the universal flow, that money shows
Correct.
up when you need it and that there's enough. And there are a lot of people here today that are like, yeah, right, Matt, there's not enough. It's like, but there is enough. You just haven't found it, just hasn't found its way to you yet. And part of that is uncorking the
Yes.
flow. You have to let the flow show up. You have to, it's like when there's a pile of water behind sand and there's just a little pinhole. If you open it, it just starts to flow. And
Yeah.
part of that flow is opening the idea that there's enough for me to give. And you start small. $5,
That's right.
$10. You start with what would otherwise not be missed in your life, the equivalent of what your Starbucks coffee costs. And it
Yeah.
starts to change your view of how money works. And
Yep.
that is the foundational way of understanding that if you want to give more and serve more and be a bigger light in your community, you have to start by acknowledging that there's plenty.
Yeah. Thank you. And doing it yourself. And I love the visual of a stagnant pond. If it just
Mhm.
sits there, it's going to get moldy and toxic in the water. Nothing can live in it. But when there's a flow of a river, it's healthy, it's vibrant, the fish are jumping, life is happening. And so, can you get into the flow of giving when no one is looking? Because then you're able to get into the give model. And this is the part that I'm so excited about is that um, there's leads, listings, leverage when it comes to, Gary's model for real estate businesses. And if you read the MREA book, he's missing the give model. He's missing teaching us how to be strategic with our generosity. Um, and so, what I love about our $1 billion in sales is I believe it's proven the model. And so, the three things that happen in the give model again, team, clients, and community are what we have left to focus on. Your team is going to use your marketing budget to promote and sponsor and support mutually beneficial events for your community. So what we started doing is, way over a decade ago, I said, I'm not going to have a billboard or put my face on a shopping cart. I'm going to go to all the schools and say, what can I support in your school that I can put my logo on? All the sports, what can I put that, my logo on and give back? And make sure that our marketing budget is being spent on the community. And it has made our team a household name. Then, how we give back on behalf of our clients is called closing for a cause. And actually, it's a choose your charity opportunity for your client. What we say is, thank you so much for the opportunity to serve you with the purchase or sale of your home. Instead of giving you a bottle of champagne, which I wouldn't do now, I'm going to make a donation to the charity of your choice. What are you passionate about as a family? And please go home and talk about it as a family. Because did you know that the kids who grow up around generous role models actually grow up to be more generous adults? So we'd love to spark that conversation back at home. Have your kids inform you as to what charity they're most passionate about. And then I'm going to make that donation as a thank you for doing business with us. And then the third piece of the give model is how we give back in our community. And for me, it had to be something true and authentic to my purpose and who I am and who our family is and the legacy we wanted to leave in this community. And so this became our team's way to give back to the community. 11 years ago, we launched the Vanessa Pollock Music Initiative. And it is a nonprofit entity, not really our own nonprofit, but I'll talk about that in a second, but a nonprofit entity in our town that we fundraise to be sure that every single child in our community who cannot afford a band or orchestra instrument rental for the school year just to take class with their peers are given an instrument. I knew from my Broadway husband and then my oldest child, who is now touring the world and a professional musician all over the place, that music was an important, critical piece of early childhood development. Not to turn them into musicians, but to help wire their brains, make them better at math and science. And honestly, it was just an act of equity. I wanted every child to have full access to every class that every other kid had. So we launched our initiative to be sure that every child had an instrument. And over time, it's evolved into the Pollock Arts Initiative. And for 11 years now, we have provided scholarships to prodigiously talented kids that the teachers have nominated in our school district. All those instrument rentals, school art supplies to all the teachers, funded teacher grants, made sure that the arts are alive and vibrant and well in our district. And that has become the legacy that we're leaving in this town. Oh, and by the way, we have fundraisers, one or two big times a year where we get to call every single past client and everyone in our database because I will not cold call, but I get to pick up the phone and say, Charlie and I are up to it again. He's bringing all of his Broadway friends. We're going to be at the high school. Please join us for our holiday concert. We're raising money for the initiative. Again, we cannot do it without you. And you know, they say, oh, how's the market? I never bring it up, but you know they do. And that has become our give model. Mutually beneficial marketing to the community. Give back where your clients are passionate. And once I've given back to them, then I get to ask them to give back where I'm passionate, which is our arts initiative. And that we really thought about with the end in mind, like, what are we going to be here and stand for so that when our community wakes up in 10, 20 years and they look back at what difference did that team make in our community, they'll be able to see it intentionally, time on task, over time, where now thousands of kids have had instrument rentals. And we've raised and donated over $600,000 as a team. And when people call and the just come list me calls, I got one yesterday. They lead with, gosh, thank you for everything you do for our community. Will you please come over and tell me what I need to do to my house?
Mhm. Now, Vanessa, it's incredibly powerful what you've done. Let's take the next step here and tell us what you're doing because
Yep.
that version, so what you've just described, I've known you, like I said, a long time, and I know a lot of other people who run real estate teams similar to ours who have the innate desire to replicate
Yep.
and do what you do. And yet, like a lot of us, we wake up every day and we've got our own businesses to run and our own thing,
Yep.
and starting feels challenging, saying, how do I start this nonprofit? How do I
Yep.
create this thing? And for a lot of real estate teams, for a lot of people that are listening to this, a lot of people are saying, like, I don't have the time, I don't have the resources, they're not in the place, they're not there yet. And
Right.
so starting feels hard.
Yep.
And so I don't know, maybe it was 3 or 4 months ago, you called me and said, I want to tell you about something.
Yes.
So tell everybody what you're doing.
Yeah, we are launching the Care, Serve, Give community of businesses across the nation. It is basically like the Angie's List of businesses that are committed to living out the principles of care, service, and generosity so that people around the country can do a search in Connecticut for your real estate team, for a plumber, for a contractor, for all kinds of businesses who are committed to living this way of doing business out. And in joining our community, our members will have access to launching their own nonprofit initiative under our Care Serve Give Foundation, which is in process right now to be the 501c3 umbrella nonprofit so that if you all decide to launch the Miale Team Sports Initiative or Music Initiative or whatever the team comes together and decides you want to do over time, you'll be able to launch that with the signature of about 2 pieces of paper and the ease of our foundation taking care of the bookkeeping, the IRS, the governance, the voting, all the logistics will be taken care of so that you all can go out and fundraise, which is also lead generation, which is also relationship business building, which is also making a difference, and lead that whole life without having to think about the laborious task of launching a nonprofit. So we're very excited to be launching the foundation, and I'm very, very grateful. I hope it's okay to say, Matt, I'm so honored to have you on the board of the
Oh,
foundation.
it's totally okay. It's an honor. I'm thrilled about it. I'm excited. It's something that everybody on the team here will be excited about. I mean, we're as an organization, guys, we're going to be one of the first. I don't know, what are we going to call it? A chapter? What are we? And we're going to lead this charge
Yes.
in our market under this brand and model.
Yeah.
and really start making inroads to help put this on the map nationally. So
Yeah.
I'm thrilled about it. I'm excited. You've
I'm
been,
honored. You will always be the Miale team.
of
And
course.
yes, you will be somewhere it will show up that you're a member of the Care Serve Give business community, and how you choose to talk about that or showcase that, it'll be totally up to you. Because we really want you to find your authentic use of this model so that it is true to who you are and who the team is. And I could not be more excited and feel more honored to have y'all joining us on this.
It's always been a part of our mission. We empower people. It's
Yep.
who we are. It's at the center of our core belief system. And the model has been, let's make some money and give it away without intention, without design, without really putting the thought into how do we make this more of something that's really true to each of the individuals that are part of the team, our core mission, we cover the whole state. So
Yeah.
our varied geography, I mean, so many
Yeah.
opportunities that come out of this. So I am super excited. Vanessa, as always, we have flown through an hour without even thinking or trying to get through an hour. You have been so incredibly gracious and inspiring on so many levels. You made a massive difference today. So
Oh.
your impact on the people that are here in ways that you probably don't even know. How can each person here support you personally? Where can we show up and make a difference for you? An initiative? Is there an Instagram? Is there a place where we can make a comment? Is there a Google review we can
Yeah.
leave? What can this army of people just north of you? How can we support you?
Thank you. First, I want you all to really start thinking about what the is near and dear to your heart that you would want to make a difference with. So that when this gets implemented, we can really go make a difference together. And I need you to go inward on that. It reminds me of Denise Payne on our team, who's been with me for 11 years now. And every year she's done her own fundraiser where she does a toy drive. And she has like three or 400 of her past clients at her home for a brunch, and they collect hundreds and hundreds of toys for kids over the holidays. So even though we're having our whole team arts initiative, I want each of you to know that there's a model for you to meet the need that breaks your heart, that you know you want to make the difference on. So there's that. Secondly, I would love if y'all would help us drive people to the event that Matt and I are doing down in Texas next month. We have a lunch and learn breakout session where we're going to talk about generosity and building community. And we really want to fill that room. And so Matt will share the Eventbrite with y'all. And even if you're not coming down to San Antonio, you know people who are probably going to Mega Camp. And we just would love it if you'd throw that on your socials and tag us. To help people know that we're starting this conversation. It's not a sales presentation about joining the community. It really is a breakout session about having a conversation about what your team has done over the years and what other teams across the country have done. So helping us fill that room would be amazing. And then, yeah, you can follow me, Vanessa S. Pollock, on Instagram, Pollock Properties Group on Instagram, the Charlie Pollock. My husband's now in The Great Gatsby on Broadway. He's done half a dozen Broadway shows and he's a fun character to follow as well if you are into that scene. But really, I hope that you'll internalize the idea of giving privately. Start there so that when we are able to implement this model together, that you really have some clarity on the impact that you want to make, because it will be profound and you will change the world. And we all, by doing our small part, are going to make a massive nationwide difference together.
So exciting, Vanessa. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I do have one last thing to add, which is definitely make sure you follow Vanessa on Instagram, because those of you that have watched over the last 57 weeks, my house renovation at the lake house, I have to give Vanessa all the credit for the inspiration behind those videos, because Vanessa about 2 years ago started a renovation
Last year.
last year. Okay, it felt like a long time, but she did a
Yep.
daily update on a pool renovation in her backyard. and I found myself captivated by the different color stones and whether she was going to use this end cap or that end cap or what color she was going to pick for the diving dock. And I was like, why am I watching this every day and commenting? And I'm so excited. And I reached out and I said, I cannot believe how invested I am in your pool project. And she was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, I can't believe how invested everyone is. And she gave me like three really important pointers, some of which I have passed on to each of you,
Yeah.
which is number one, don't ever be on camera because then you don't have to worry about how you look. You can just walk
Correct.
around. Number two, put a ticker on as far as how much time has passed. I knew that my renovation was going to be a year or more, so I didn't go daily like Vanessa did with her pool renovation because I was like, I can't do a daily update. That won't work. But I'm like, but I could do weekly. And number three, you were like, just do sort of like inner monologue, just walk around and talk about it. And
Yeah.
people will like really, and so you've all seen the lake house renovation, and that was entirely inspired by Vanessa's pool renovation, which again, you got your first full season out of the pool this year, right?
Oh my gosh, it has been magic. Yes.
Amazing.
Absolutely. And I'm obsessed with your concrete.
Oh, it's
Your
the best.
And
Yeah,
when the trees came down with the
crazy,
view of the lake
crazy.
and then the
Yeah.
cable railings,
Oh
like
yeah, it's
I
crazy.
can't wait.
Isn't
That
it?
is going
It's
to be our
like
family vacation is coming to
it
rent
is
your
the
house.
wildest thing, like, because you were spot on. Like, I can't go in a room anywhere, whether it's a Keller Williams family reunion or mastermind or a family getaway
Yep.
300 miles away for my uncle's 90th birthday. I can't go anywhere where people don't say, like, love what you're doing at the lake. And I'm like, that it's wild. Like,
Yeah.
it's so, and again, you can't measure any of that through the likes or the comments. You just people are fascinated by it. So I've encouraged you all in the past, pick a project, document it, be authentic and real about it, whether you're buying a car, doing something at your house, coaching little league, it doesn't matter. Pick a
Yep.
project, be real about it, and just follow a process. People are going to become fans of that process because for some reason humans are really interested in what other people are
Yeah.
up to. So
I know we're out of time, Matt, but you do this as well. I am on camera for real estate and I'm
yeah,
off camera for my personal
100%.
renovations, etc. And y'all, I think you know this, but the AI, the robots are watching for your face and they're listening to what you're talking about. They actually are listening to your tone as well. And all the content that you're putting out there actually really matters. I had a client reach out recently, wanted a CMA. Somebody had passed away. She said, I'm so sorry. We're not going to be selling. I just need the price on this condo for my family member who passed. I said, I'm so sorry for your loss. I'd be honored to give you a price opinion. I'm in service, not sales. It doesn't matter that you're not selling it. And I said, to whom shall I send a thank you card? Because I always want to show gratitude to the people who recommended me. And she said, oh, no, it's not a person. It's AI. I went into chat and I said, who is an expert, kind realtor in South Orange, New Jersey? Kind being the most important priority. And
Mm.
you were the name that the robots told me to call. And so I just want to encourage what Matt is saying. Talk about who you are, talk about what you stand for, talk about your commitment to your clients, to your community, because more than ever, that is actually showing up now as searchable and how they're going to be finding you based on what people's own values and principles are. And then, yeah, if you can also talk about your pool for 90 days
Yeah.
and tease the algorithm into showing up in front of all the people in a really fun home renovation, it's all connected way. It all feeds in a really beautiful way, and the people you want to work with are going to find you because like attracts like.
Amen. Amen. Well, Vanessa, thank you. What an amazing hour and 10 minutes we had this morning. Guys, please follow Vanessa. Show her some gratitude. I appreciate you very much, my friend. Can't wait for what we're going to do. I'll see you in
Yeah.
a month. I'll see you
Yep.
in a month in Texas, and I'm
Yep.
sure we'll be talking before then. So,
Yep.
all right, y'all,
careservegive.com if y'all want to go see your team already on the directory.
That's right.
careservegive.com.
CareServeGive.com. We are already there in the directory as the Connecticut chapter. Again, chapter's the wrong word, right? What are we?
Yeah, you're a
Chapter?
care serve give
We
business.
are a care serve give business. So, all
Yep.
right, everybody, you know the drill. It's Friday, so whatever you got teed up for the weekend, you got another, 7, 8 hours to make it happen. Get your open houses dialed in, get your stuff dialed in, and I'll see you all on Monday. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye,
Love you
Vanessa.
all.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.